Zooming got that drip, bitch.
Used to hit packs, stood on the block and was moving a snack. Now I spit truth and I'm writing these raps. I follow Yahweh Shah, he coming back. All of my niggas really changed their life, and we sitting in class every single night. Sipping on do say, and we breaking out scriptures that law really get you right. I asked the Lord, why did he save me? Baby, born in the 80s. Used to hide dope in my grandmother's basement. I seen the nigga brains all on the pavement. Got 32 with a switch and a laser. I was down bad with an 8-ball scale and a razor. I came out the struggle, I finally made it. I counted these blessings, I'm never complaining. Kid soldier, they give me your orders. Say corner one corner, I do what I'm told. Nothing my crown, I'ma be fly as a bitch. You know I'ma dip it in gold. They call me Batak, so that mean I'm bold. Came out the block, used to beat at the pot, then hit all the things in the holes. I chased the money, was losing my soul. Used to hit packs, stood on the block and was moving a snack. Now I spit truth and I'm writing these raps. I follow Yahweh Shah, he coming back. All of my niggas really changed their life, and we sitting in class every single night. Sipping on do say, and we breaking out scriptures that law really get you right.
Only the real ones call me ruler. Got 50 round steel drum in a Ruger. I say go kill one of my shooter. He say I owe you like a sooner. Hey yo, talk, tell me why they testing me. Used to get guap, reading ecstasy. I'm out the kitchen, still with the recipe. I'm in the truth, building a legacy. I keep a couple shooters with a secretary. If you ain't over me, then you ain't checking me. I just hopped off the plane of Puerto Rico. Hollers and Quinte and Cinco. Homie, I leave you stressed, it's like a limo. Pull up in any city with a rental. Free my dogs out and get them out the kennel. Enemy trying to pit me like an NO, you know.
Used to hit packs, stood on the block and was moving a snack. Now I spit truth and I'm writing these raps. I follow Yahweh Shah, he coming back. All of my niggas really changed their life, and we sitting in class every single night. Sipping on do say, and we breaking out scriptures that law really get you right. I was locked down on myself, asking the Lord every night, when am I getting out? Why he keep sending me blessings and I keep on fucking up, still haven't figured it out. Talk up behind me, I had to lose my bust me a UE and then made a right. 40 on me, got a body. Nigga tried rob me and ended up losing his life. I bought a ticket to Cuba, TSA locked me up when I was boarding the flight. Crackers ain't give me a bail, so I was stuck in that bitch and that shit had me tight. And I had beef with the ops, I put the mirror in the bathroom and made me a knife. I see why the murder rate high, niggas be pussy and shit and they can't really fight. Used to hit packs, stood on the block and was moving a snack. Now I spit truth and I'm writing these raps. I follow Yahweh Shah, he coming back. All of my niggas really changed their life, and we sitting in class every single night. Sipping on do say, and we breaking out scriptures that law really get you right.
Get most out of my hand. Tuesday night Brotherhood class. Welcome back. Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakathum to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamal Athum Hashem Yahweh Shah to the sisters. Water for y'all coming back in. Salakia for the tardiness. We about to rock it out. You know what I mean? Got my brother back in action. Las Vegas.
Thanks,
Officer Rock.
Yeah, Most High Christ.
All right, y'all, we in this thing. So we're about to get in on Halloween and the records of Bell and the Dragon. I don't want to say story. The records of Bell and the Dragon. All right. So first, starting off with what's going on this week. Our oppressors have put another wicked day in front of us. You know what I mean? Annually. A lot of kids gonna be out celebrating and worshiping guys that they don't even know about. You know what I mean? Idol worship, a sin at that. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I'm just gonna read Exodus 20 and 2, right? Exodus 20 and 2 through 5. And it says, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Repeat that. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Okay? So why is that necessary to read within what we are talking about as far as this topic? Because Halloween is idol worship. Halloween is putting another God before the true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay, this is important because a lot of us don't really assume or think that, this day that is supposed to be for children could be harmful or triggering, or how can I say not triggering, but could be a day that the Lord hates. But it is. You know what I mean? There's always a history that comes with something, and you have to figure out what the history is. Go ahead, Rob.
It's like, if I may, it's deceitful for children is what it is. Salaki. Because of course, if I could really quick, I didn't mean to interject like that, but if I could, our children are led to believe that it's okay and it's safe to go door to door to strangers' houses to ask them for food. But then, if I may just throw it in real quick, it's funny how we also raise our children not to accept things, let alone to even talk to strangers in the first doggone place, except for once a year. Salaki.
Nah, that's real talk. Because our oppressors have, how can I say, they try to blend in family value or try to blend in Christ or the Most High to decoy the actual wickedness that is that has history to the things that they want you to celebrate. You know what I mean? Like, back when we was in the world, you would hear people say, "Oh, I don't celebrate holidays," and you would think that they was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But ignorantly, we weren't thinking of why. Why weren't they celebrating holidays? Why were they? You know what I mean? Why were they pushing away certain days? We just seen the candy, we seen the gifts, we seen the parties, we seen the costumes, we seen all the trinkets that come with it, and would wonder why would someone deny, such pleasantry. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So now we have to look at it like this. Now that we have common sense, we're adults, we're able to think with our minds. You know what I mean? It's more than just keeping the tradition of these days. It's where did these days originate from? So, what is it called again? Let me see. I forgot. I forget what this day is called. I think it's called Cyan. I think it's definitely called Cyan. Let me check to make sure I'm on the right track. But I think it's called Cyan. I don't want to keep saying it, but I'll just call it Halloween for right now. But if you ever heard of the Celtic people, right? The Celtic people, this is an Irish festival that used to go down back in the day, where Irish, we're talking about heathen, right? And make that very, very, very clear. When it comes to our people, we have because of us not knowing who we are, because of us not having a culture to attach to, because of us being completely delusional of what to follow and what God truly wants from us, we are willing to attach ourselves to anything or any type of culture that is brought in front of us that is accepting of us, right? If it accepts us, we're going to latch onto it, regardless of what it is. Religion, culture, whatever it is. You know what I mean? We're gonna attach ourselves to it, which is why the Lord compared us to harlots. He compared us to whores, because we're so willing to just lay in bed with any type of culture, any type of God, any type of anything, because we have none of our own. You know what I mean? Right. Well, in our minds, we don't have our own. In our minds, we don't have our own custom. In our minds, we don't have our own foundation. So we latch on to anything that's in front of us that's willing to accept us back, because we don't have our own. This is why the Lord compares us to a harlot, to a whore, right? So going back into the Celtic people, the people in Ireland, right? So they have this festival that they start every year, right? And they do it on October 31st. This is back in the day, you know what I mean? And this festival would involve, it was a meaning behind these festivals because they were seasonal people. Now, this festival was the start off of a new year. They were bringing in winter, and to them, winter was a new year. Now, who else brings in festivals or bring in celebrations in the winter time to celebrate a new year? I mean, like, does anybody know in the chat? Could anybody tell me?
If nobody knows in the chat, I'll take a stab at it.
Anybody got it? Nobody got it? Go ahead, Rock.
Well, actually, before I give my official answer, I do got one question to that first. Did the Egyptians do anything during the season, during the winter solstice? Were the Egyptians on that as well?
I'm not really too savvy on Egyptian customs, but I know that when it comes to Edomite customs, they're, regardless of whatever you look into, regardless of whatever culture you look into, winter is the beginning of their new year.
Right. That's why, my answer is technically it's the Greeks and the Romans. But we all, the reason why I asked that question in the first place is we know that the Greeks, they stole a whole lot of the religious the religious witchcraft from the Egyptians. So like that's why I was asking that. But to give you the answer though is the Greeks and the Romans. That's right too. But who does it today? Oh, today? Oh, Salaki, America. Salaki, my fault. I thought you were asking where it came from. Salaki. No. You two. I want to get people to get into the mindset of knowing that knowing who this oppressor is, pretty much. Right. You know what I'm saying? So today, January 1st, we celebrate what? A new year. January 1st is in the wintertime. You know what I mean? We are celebrating a new year in the middle of winter. You know what I mean? The Bible says that the new year begins in spring, when there's a new bringing of flowers, plants, fruits, trees. You know what I mean? Everything dies in the winter. Everything dies in the fall. You know what I'm saying? Everything begins to die in the fall. Everything dies in the wintertime. The new bringing of the seasons starts in the spring, which is what the Bible tells us. You know what I'm saying? But our oppressors, they believe that the new year starts within the wintertime. Why they believe this? Maybe because they were stuck in them caves the whole time, and that's just where their new year started. You know what I'm saying? But either way, that's their traditions consistently from culture to culture. Always, it's wintertime. The new year begins in the wintertime, right? So January 1st, no different from the Celtics October 31st. Now, the Celtics, they would have certain ceremonies and certain things that they would follow in order to celebrate these comings of new seasons and new years in this festival. So they would create big bonfires and give sacrifices of animals and, certain things to certain deities and spirits, right? They would feel like the veil has been broken between the living and the unliving, and they would feel like the spirits realm would combine with the reality realm. You know what I mean? The realm of the physical. So they would celebrate this time period as a spiritual type of celebration. You know what I mean? Now we're getting into the idolatry, and now we're getting into the wickedness that comes in with why the Lord hates these days, right? They're giving offerings to false idols. You know what I mean? They're giving offerings to false gods. So this is the day that they would, certain things they would do, right? They would have certain folklores, certain stories they would tell, certain things that they believe that fairies would come and things of that nature. But the most important things is that they would feel like as if they're communicating or having a traditional relationship day with spirits from another realm, right? So they would dress up in costumes and masks, and they would try to
how's it? Be in the image of a spirit, be in the image of of whatever they were trying to avoid, right? They would give gifts to each other. They would leave gifts on their front doorsteps for the spirits to be able to indulge in their foods and drinks or whatever they would leave. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that they would do. You know what I mean? And we're going to compare that to Scripture. And first, okay, let me not jump ahead of myself. Let me get into the book of Amos, chapter 5, right? The book of Amos, chapter 5, and verse 20. Right, let me get there.
5 and 20.
Yeah, Amos 5 and 20.
Oh, I mean, it's a lot again. I was at Hosea. I was about to sound dumb as hell.
Like, I got it right here. All right, so this is the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 20. This says, let me see. Okay.
I'm there if you want me to read it.
Yeah.
All right, this is the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 20. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it?
So he's talking about the day of the Lord. He's talking about how the day of the Lord is going to be filled with smoke and fire and, you know what I mean, bombs and just complete warfare, right? It's going to be a dark day because the smoke from all those nuclear bombs hitting the earth is just going to be so much smoke that you won't even be able to see the sun. But go ahead.
Verse 21. I despise your feast days.
Read that one more time.
I despise your feast days.
Okay.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
Verse 22. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts.
So the Lord is not accepting these feast days that you guys are bringing for these heathen gods, these heathen customs. This is considered, this day that's coming up is considered a feast day, right? It's considered a feast day because they would send offerings to false idols and spirits and leave offerings on their front doorsteps for spirits. You know what I mean? This is not the work of God. This is not the things that the Lord has put within the scriptures of the Bible. You know what I mean? This is not instructions he's given us to do. This is heathen customs. But we follow those things. We do these things. We contribute to the sacrifices of false idols. And the Lord said he hates these days. He said he hates the smell of their offerings. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's keep going to 25.
To 25? Okay, Con. If I may, though, before we read on, I did want to point something out that should stand out to everybody, right? So in verse 20, we read over, it says, shall not the day, and this is a question. Verse 20 is a question. You understand? And a very important question that you should apply to, like, listen, anything that you learn from the Bible, the smallest things will always apply and match even with the greatest of things. You understand? And one of these small things that should stand out right now, go ahead, you good, is on verse 20. It says, shall not the day of the Lord be darkness? So we know that the day that's for the Most High is going to be it's going to be a dark time. It is not going to be some joyful glee. You know, we're singing and dancing and, you know, putting on stupid ass sweaters and masks and whatever nonsense, you know, putting on a turkey in the doggone in the oven to celebrate the genocide of somebody. You understand what I'm saying? That is not the day of the Lord. You understand? Right. That whole bright and light and just cheerful day that those holidays bring forth. You understand? That's one way how you know that's not of the Lord. And then, of course, the fact that, you know, us reading Bell and the Dragon. Bell and the Dragon is a chapter, is a book that encompasses just all holidays, really. You understand? Right. Because it encompasses all idol worship and holidays are idol worship. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but one of the biggest things that everybody tries to how do you say, create a parallel with is the most is Christ's birthday and Christmas. You understand? And of course, those same goofies also think that Christ is the Most High. So I'm gonna help y'all out real quick, right? Always remember how everybody just dreams damn near for 363 days, 64 days about that just wonderful, beautiful, white Christmas. It's a snowy Christmas. We wake up, the kids are happy. They so happy. They wake up the parents, because ultimately, what are we doing? We are getting up to, I mean, pretend we're recognizing Christ, even though nobody even says anything about Christ on Christmas Day. But you get what I'm saying? That's a totally different spirit. That's a totally different description of that disgusting holiday that the heathens keep. That, what did it just say in verse 20? That shall not the day of the Lord be darkness? Well, if you believe that your Lord is Christ and that Christ's birthday is supposed to be a day we celebrate and be so happy, why doesn't it say right here that, you know, the day of the Lord is going to be filled with light and happiness and joyfulness? Like, y'all understand what I'm trying to lay out right there with that? You understand? There was a second thing I was going to bring out, but I just wanted to point that out for y'all to recognize that even just the smallest things, the smallest points in the Bible, they always match up to the greatest things in the world and will always bring it down. You understand what I'm saying? So like if we was on verse 23. Yeah. So I'll pick up at verse 23. The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 23. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. Verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. Verse 25. Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel?
So, getting into these scriptures, the Lord is upset with our people for following, and it's not just that we're following the traditions and the ways of the heathen, but we're following something that's so ignorant and dumb. Like, you gotta just understand the background of what our people are going to celebrate this week. They literally felt like if you put like a tree nut or like some type of almond ring or something like that in some bread, and they pick the bread pieces up, if you had a nut, you're gonna be single for the rest of the year. If you had a ring, you're gonna get married. Like, it's just ignorant, educational just practices. But we don't want to know where it stems from. We just want to know what we're dealing with now. We just want the fun of it now, not knowing that we are upsetting the Lord, not knowing that we are disrespecting the Lord, not knowing that we're serving other gods. You know what I mean? Serving other deities. Like, you know what I'm saying? You leaving that candy in the front yard is no different than them leaving out potatoes and peaches and, you know what I mean, squash in their front yard for spirits to come and take. You know what I mean? You dressing your kids up in costumes is no different than when they dress their kids up in costumes to, you know what I mean, to be to avoid the evil spirits that are going to be dwelling around them. You know what I mean? Like, it's nonsense. And it's all stemmed from pagan celebrations, pagan gods. And we still to this day ignorantly want to dwell into their customs and not want customs of our own. This is coming straight out of Ireland. You know what I'm saying? Like, majority of our people ain't even been to Ireland. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yet they will wholeheartedly try to defend Ireland's customs to the depth of themselves, to the destruction of themselves. Like, you're literally sending your kids out, and you know that there's dangers out there. You have to check the candy when you get home. Each and every piece of candy to make sure that they're not poison, there ain't no razor blades, Like, you know that there's dangers out there, but you send your kids out there anyways so you can continue the customs. Women are going out dressed like whores. Why? Because you're a whore to the false gods. You know what I mean? You laying in bed with each and every false. The way you dress is no different than what you're doing when you celebrate this day. You know what I'm saying? You are going out to be a whore, also while being a whore spiritually as well. You're a spiritual and physical whore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like our people just are completely ignorant to, and it's not like it's a new thing. You know what I mean? We've all been indoctrinated within the realms of stupidity. You know what I mean? We've all probably had days where we celebrated, you know what I mean, holidays or things of that nature. Like, you know what I mean, our oppressors' days. But the thing about it is we have to understand, why is our oppressor enforcing these days on us? Because at the end of the day, it is enforced. The stores that you walk into, all decorations, all candy. You know what I mean? For every holiday. You know what I mean? The commercials you see, the things that you see on television, it's all forced down your throats because it's dictated that you are supposed to celebrate these days. And you would look like someone who's an outsider if you don't. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you get the background, you see that the Lord actually hates these things. You can actually start to try to figure out why. Why does the Lord hate these things? Okay, hates these things because of this and that. So why is it that we do this? Who's it dictating this? And who are we? So hopefully that brings you into a mindset where you cannot be ignorant anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's just ignorance. It's complete ignorance to think that you know what I mean, eating a certain type of fruit is going to help your fertility. You know what I mean? Like things that are that the heathens make up, and they've been doing since they've been on the scene. Like, this has absolutely nothing to do with us. We don't even think of, our people is too busy trying not to get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? They sitting over here going to abortion clinics and, you know what I mean, popping plan B to plan B to plan B, trying not to get pregnant, while our oppressors over here making festivals on how, on certain traditions on how you can get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? The difference of what's going on here? You see the difference? Like they'll literally celebrate a false idol just to be able to get pregnant within that year. But our people, you know what I mean, will sit there and go to abortion clinics, go get Plan Bs, and you know what I mean, do all these certain things to stop the fertility. It's a difference when it comes to that. Our people gotta wake up. But you got something to rock?
Yeah, I actually wanted to point something out again. I mean, what we just read, man, just these verses that you brought out was just so heavy, especially on the topic, and just even getting an understanding of, you know, getting to know the Most High in the first place, right? And another one that should really stand out for y'all is verse 24. I'm gonna read it, and then I want y'all to tell me, with on topic, why this verse in particular should stand out to everybody. You understand? So this is the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 24, and reads, "But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream." You understand? What about that verse should be standing out to y'all when we're talking about this topic in particular, this subject of holidays? You know, right now we're talking, you know, in particular, we got Halloween coming up. But why should this stand out in particular? And of course, this question is for people who is a little bit more acquainted with, you know, being an Israelite, have actually put into practice in their lives, keeping the high holy days. And that's my hint to y'all right there, is that last part. You understand? Why should this verse stand out to y'all though? And I know there's a couple brothers in here that well, y'all in Hebrew Academy, so you understand, I better see y'all you know, at least a wrong answer in the comment. Let's see. So eating in slavery, having celebration during working hours to make you partake.
That's right.
That's right. What's the part of the What's the part of verse? I'm reading the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 24. That whole verse. What my question is, young man, Davon. If I said your name incorrectly, Salakia. I want that whole verse. What's his name?
Davion.
Oh, it's Davion, Salakia. Davion, I want the whole verse, but there's something in particular about that verse that should stand out to you. Now, you a young man, which is okay, and I'll actually be, a bit, color me impressed if you know the answer to this, but I actually expect at least an officer or at least a candidate in Hebrew Academy, which is going on right now, you understand, to have this answer, if not at least a officer. So I'm gonna give you all a few more moments before I just defaulted to Nathab. All right, Nathabalan. That's the main one I'm actually looking for, Salakia. Before I defaulted to not the Zak is what I meant to say, Salakia. But Davion, I want you to at least take a stab at it though. All right. What about verse 24 should stand out? Could you read the verse? Yeah, I can most definitely do that for you. The book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. So that's the verse. And then again, so the question is, what about this verse should stand out to you when we're talking about this topic, about these holidays and whatnot? Because there's something. No, if I say that, then I'm really giving away. I'm giving y'all the answer. When I already gave y'all a solid hint earlier, even not the Zach said, dead giveaway. Khan, young man. Yeah, Amos 5 and verse 24. That one in particular. All right, so when it says 32, we'll say 50. Just so we can move on for time's sake. Salaki, if I may, always let righteousness rule over their wickedness. You are correct about that. Of course, our righteousness will always overrule on wickedness, but that is not the answer I'm looking for. He said we're gonna get punished. La'ah, the Lord's punishment is an everlasting judgment. La'ah. Hold on, because I want to make sure I saw him in the chat. Yeah. All right, Nathabalan. I'm waiting for you, right now. Every 10 seconds that gets it ticks. That's 20 push-ups.
God damn.
Go ahead, young man. Yeah. It is not about being righteous. Well, of course it is about being righteous, but there's a theme to it. All right, just for the sake of time, not desired. Did you want to take a stab at it?
For verse 24?
Yeah, what is it exactly about 24 that should stand out for everybody? Especially after what I just broke down with verse 20.
Let righteousness run down like waters, and it's like let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream.
Mm-hmm.
Running down like waters. I mean, the word that I think of when they say running down like waters is like plethora. Let a plethora of judgments.
Oh, so that's what you stuck on, is running like waters?
Yeah, that's what I'm stuck on.
Right, no sweat.
Keeping it to verse 20, as far as like it would be a day of darkness.
Okay. All right, they're going to Nathab Milan. He said, judgment gonna happen rather wicked or righteous. Okay. So no, what I wanted y'all, the way I want this verse to stand out to y'all is the same with, with verse 20. All right. This verse 20 starts off with the day of the Lord. You understand? Every time that when you go to the left of the timeline of the Israelites' history, you understand? When every time that we have a high holy day that comes up, what comes first? A day of darkness, a time of darkness, or as we read right here in verse 24, judgment is running down. You understand? As waters, to your point, Natazak. You understand what I'm saying? So for us to have a high holy day, a day of which an Israelite will recognize, first and foremost, we recognize it because the Most High orders us to do it. He commands us to remember this day for our generations. You understand? That's the first thing. But the second thing, there's always a judgment that had happened. You understand? We can start with Passover. You understand? We remember Passover because of what judgment? What was the judgment that came? What was that darkness, that judgment that we basically have to remember? We're being ordered to remember this darkness and this judgment. But of course, from our point of view as Israelites, we see it as a good thing. We see it as light. But for what reason? Go ahead. No. So young man Kev, he said the death angel. So okay, everybody's saying the same thing with death. So you guys, the unaliving of the Egyptians. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted right there. The Tabalam said the unaliving of the Egyptians. You understand? That is a day of which we are commanded to remember because there was a time of darkness that had happened to within our world that we were able to see. And that was, the great land of Egypt that was flowing with all the milk and honey to the very point that it was destroyed for our sake. And even though it was obliterated in front of us, before our very eyes, when the Red Sea was parted and everything, right? What did we still decide to do? We still decided to rise up a doggone golden calf and, basically to go back and revert back to the ways of the ancient Egyptians, right? We're supposed to remember that great destruction, that great destroying of that part of our lives is now gone when we were in bondage by the Egyptians. You understand? Then we got another who can tell me the next high holy day that's coming up?
I got it.
Go ahead, Natazak.
Feast of Dedications.
Feast of Dedication or Hanukkah. You understand? What is Hanukkah about? What is the Feast of Dedication about? Now we know for those of y'all, for those of us that have been around for a little bit, we know what we're supposed to do. You understand? But why do we do this is the point. You understand? And just for the sake of time, this was during the time of the Maccabees, where, we basically let the heathens, the Greeks, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the Greeks or the Romans? It was Greeks, right? Where the Greeks they pretty much, we allowed them into our temple and then having the sacrifices. It was Greeks?
It was Greeks.
Okay, yeah, kind. So the Greeks, you understand, just completely defaced our temple, our holy land, or our holy, ground. You understand that we set for just the Most High God. And then once we finally came out of our funk, of course, we fought them off. We retook what was ours, and then we replaced everything that they had defaced. Every single stone was completely replaced. You understand? Now, what is it that you're supposed to remember? That you're supposed to remember that dark time that you went through, that the Lord had to bail you out. Just like that dark time that you went through of the time of the Passover, so that the Lord can bail you out. You understand? For the Lord to bring us salvation. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why verse 24 and especially verse 20 and 24 together should really stand out for us, so that we can always remember that, you're about to do Halloween. If this is a day of the Lord, Where's the pain and suffering behind Halloween for the sake of the Israelites' salvation, for the sake of God's people? Right. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Y'all see how I brought that back together? You understand? Right. All of the days that we are commanded to keep in remembrance is to remember the death and destruction we went through, and then the Most High bailed us out. And we got to remember that whole thing, because you know what? Right after, once we're free, once we in the wilderness, hey, now you need to start remembering this. Keep this day holy. Keep this time of year for the rest of your generations. Y'all keep this day holy, because for one, you can go right back into that death and destruction, that oppression that you was in. You understand that the Most High God, Salakia, that the Most High God bailed you out of. But remember everything that was done, from your condition to what was done to those people to where you at now, and how we are being, fruitful and being great from here, from then on. You understand? Always remember that. You understand? Salakia. That's where I wanted to go with it. Salakia.
Wow,
most of my cars,
that's real heavy, because it's like the high holy days that the Lord put within the scriptures is all based on our winnings. You know what I mean? Times that we've probably almost been genocide to the, wiped off this planet, to getting out of bondage. Like, it was that dark time that we was facing, and then we were able to win. You know what I mean? We were able to triumph through our situation.
Right.
So the Lord gave those for us to have as a high holy day. Halloween ain't got nothing to do with Israel. That's it. That's Irish. Irish and Israel are two different nations. You know what I mean? One's Esau, one's Israel. So as we know, the Lord hates Esau. So why do we celebrate days that Esau has put in front of us to celebrate? Why do we keep the customs? Oh, it's just for the kids. Oh, it's just a family day. Oh, it's just we ain't doing nothing that has anything to do with. Yes, you're doing everything that has to do with that. All the customs you follow, all the steps that you take in order to be able to celebrate these holidays are all based on what your oppressor does to celebrate their victory, into punishing us, into putting us in captivity, into them enslaving us, them using us as a tool to get their nation on top. You know what I'm saying? So you're doing the complete opposite of what the Lord loves. The Lord loves Israel. He doesn't love these other nations. He doesn't love their triumph days. He wants us to celebrate our triumph days. You know what I mean? So that's a complete fact. But getting into
if I may add one more thing on, or did you?
My brother. Go ahead, my brother.
I hit the water. One more thing, just to add on to your Halloween breakdown information, right, of the origins of it with the Celtic Druids. Maybe you accidentally left this out, because I thought you was about to say it at one point. So Halloween, to what he has said, it starts on the 30th with Hallows Eve. You understand, where everybody is supposed to, they lay out the sweet fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, the offerings out to the spirits, right? But in reality, they were setting it out for the Celtic Druids, which was basically their how do you say, like, you can say that's like the Celtic priests, so to speak, right? And so what they would basically do, I'm not 100% sure on how they decided who the victim was per se, but there needed to be a virgin girl, I believe, within the ages. I think the ages were 8 to, I think it's either 8 to 13 or 8 to 15, somewhere around there. And those little girls would, obviously it's a virgin for a reason, but they would, what are we allowed to say?
Well,
They would take advantage of her. Right. What'd you say, Salaki? What'd you say?
Nah, I said, what are we allowed to say? It's crazy.
No, for real, right?
That's how you know about the thing.
Hey man, I don't need them phone calls. All right, I want to make sure I'm within the vocabulary. No, so they would be taken advantage of until the midnight going into Halloween, and then they would sacrifice her. So it's just an innocent, an innocent child, and that's literally where you get the whole custom of, the whole door-to-door offering. That's everybody, you go to each door, get the candy, you understand? Because if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be like a sweet offering, and that's why the brother has said, mostly fruits with sweet taters and oranges and fruits and stuff like that, things of sweetness. That was your offerings for the Druid Celtics, right? And then of course, you're trick or treating. Because some way, somehow, I don't remember exactly how they made the decision, but they hit every door, and then eventually they would stop at one of the doors where they would retrieve the offerings, and also their, virgin, young, innocent daughter is going with them into them woods to do woodly things. You understand? Right. Which ended up with her also being sacrificed. You understand? And so when that happens, and Lord forbid it happens to anybody, any of our children, you understand? And I'm saying this in general, but when this happens to your child, where your child is kidnapped on Halloween night because you had them dressed up in a costume, going to strangers to go get, their sweet offerings, and that child ends up, being kidnapped and unalived. Of course, we do not pray for this on your child to happen. But what I am saying is, you're not allowed to be surprised when you receive the consequences of which your actions had asked for. You understand? I got to talk to y'all like my children. You understand what I'm saying? The fact that your child ended up in that situation is because of the actions of which you made your child to do. And what are those actions? It's the actions of the Judaic Celtics, the Celtic religion. You kept that alive. You kept that tradition going. In fact, with you partaking in that tradition, you are saying that my children, at least one of my children, is viable for this sacrifice of which you Judaic Celtics are coming to receive. You understand what I'm saying? This is when you do what the oppressors do, what the heathens do, you're saying, I accept all that comes with it. It's just like when, as a child, for those of y'all that are siblings, right? This is an issue that we got, going on in my house right now, right? Share that with y'all real quick. When you want to sit there and, antagonize your doggone siblings, thinking that you're just going to get away with it. And then you get hurt or somebody gets hurt, whatever, you get found out. Well, now you got to pay for those consequences, right? Right? All right. You understand? So we all got to keep these things in mind, that the smallest things that we do, just like the smallest things in this scripture, it all is able to match up against the greatest things. You understand? And we got to be mindful of those small actions of which we partake in. You understand? Because quite frankly, it can cost your life, or even worse. So like in my opinion, it'd be worse for me to lose or it would be worse for me to lose one of my babies versus my life. Salaki. But that's, I just wanted to point that out before we moved on. Salaki. You had a question? Okay.
Nah, real talk, but it's true. You offer your kids up, and you think it's cute, but it's dangerous.
Right.
It's dangerous, but you're following the same customs that has been put in front of you, so you allow it to happen anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's child sacrifice.
Right. Oh, Salaki, if I may real quick, can I say one more thing? Salaki, because you just reminded me. You just reminded me of something so doggone heavy. So there is a video And if I could just ask, don't let me forget going into next week. That way I can send you this video and we can start off with this one. I think we actually talked about it before, where there was like a Brady Bunch layout, but instead of it's the Brady Bunch, it's the alphabet community where they're singing this whole song and whatnot. And about like how great it is to be rainbow people and this whole shebang. And then in the middle of the chorus, it's like, go ahead.
I got it. I can share that right now.
Oh, would you mind? Could you just mind? Would you mind just showing the part where it says, it's something along the lines of, we don't care that you don't like us because we're after your children. We want your children. Do you know what part I'm talking about?
Yeah, let me see real quick.
All right. And then if was you good on Amos, or did you want to go into Bell of the Dragon? Or where do you want to go from here?
No, yeah, we can rob on Amos.
Okay. Where do you want to go from here?
Let's go to Bell and the Dragon for sure.
All right, kind. So then while you looking that up, I'll start on Bell and the Dragon and breaking it down and reading it and whatnot. That's straight.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so now we're gonna go into the Bell of the Dragon. So, Lockie, this is actually one of my favorite breakdowns to go through, especially with when it comes to ideology, and I mostly do it around these times of the heathens' holidays. You understand? So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it, right? So this is the history of the destruction of Bel and the Dragon, cut off from the end of Daniel. Just so that I read that whole thing, just so that y'all know how this correlates with. You already found it.
Yeah. We wait though. I'll add it on when you're done.
Oh no, I'd rather you play it. Yeah, if before that that way nothing gets broken up.
All right, here, go right here.
Double Kashad.
Made over the past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Boom, right there. Pause it right there, Baba Kashad.
Turning your children into
pause it right there.
Caring people, but
so that's pretty much you can take that disgusting shit off. It's like, man, like that's all we needed right there. But there was a part where, like in the middle of like the actual chorus, they said what I said earlier, right? If y'all got the gall to listen to the whole thing, so you can hear that particular part, that's on you. No judgment on that. That's, hey, you can just tolerate a little bit more than me. But he said something very, very heavy right there. You understand? Where he said, you will be, we're going to get your kids so that they'll just be at least tolerant, right? Something along them lines, right? The issue with that word tolerance is it's not necessarily just only applying to our children. You understand? The word tolerance, when it comes to that community, is also applying to the adult. And how do you know? And how do you know that it's actually working? You can start with something very small, right? We've all had a song that was like stuck in our head that we hate. There's a song we just absolutely hate. You understand? And then it gets stuck in your head because you hear it on the radio, you hear it at school, you hear it at work, you hear it wherever the hell you go, you just hear it, you hear it, can't stand it. But then it gets to a point where you're like, okay, it's not that bad. And then sometimes you get to a point you're like, man, I used to hate that doggone song, but it slick grew on me. No, it didn't. That is not what happened. What happened is you became, what is the word? When you can't feel, numb. You became numb to it. You understand? That's what happened. Then from you being numb, because you heard it so much, you had to deal with it so much because it's beyond your control. It's thrown into your ears. You understand? You can't help it but to hear it. You have to hear it. So now you become numb to it, even though that you hated it. Now, from you going from being numb to just accepting it and liking it, that's exactly what it is. You went from being numb to just, you know what, it's going to keep on playing, so screw it. If I want to listen to the next song on this radio station because nobody else plays my music, especially out here in Pahrump, you understand? You got redneck music and crap. Anyways, you understand? You got no choice. So you just get to the point where, you know what, I accept the fact I got to listen to it, so I'm just going to listen to it, whatever, just bite the bullet. But then it gets to the point where you accept it, you mentally put yourself neutral with it instead of continuing to fight with it because it's too mentally tiring for you to fight against it. You understand? So then you accepting it is also you know what? It's not so bad. You get what I'm saying? Now, we're talking about something as simple as you hearing a song. Sometimes they're 85 ticks to somewhere north of, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, give or take, you know what I'm saying? That long of a song. So 3.5 minutes tops of a song. And that got you to convert. You only had to listen to it X amount of times. Your commute to and from work is 30 minutes. You understand what I'm trying to lay out for y'all? The math equation for y'all to see? Because why do you think that if you're unable to fight off the numbing of a song that, especially when our children are in play who don't know to fight against, what to stand up against and fight up against, what makes you think that your child is going to know to fight against that? Let alone, how are you going to be able to fight against that without this book right here, without the understanding right here? You understand what I'm saying? Like y'all, I know I kind of went a little, wide with that, a little obtuse with that, but y'all understand what I'm saying though, right? With just the fact that even with just music, with you just hearing it, but you put the stuff on the TV and then you got to see the stuff in person and whatnot. Eventually, that agenda is setting you up to be numb to the oppressors and heathens' customs. Same exact thing happened with these holidays. You understand? That's the only reason why that's a part of our lives. You understand? Because our forefathers got numb to it. Our forefathers got used to it. And now it's a part of our lives now. But hey, we know the reverse equation to get out of that. You understand? And in fact, the Most High now, as long as you following the law, statutes, and commandments, you doing what you're supposed to be doing in the eyes of the Most High God, you have a way out of that ditch. You understand? That death pit of which we are all in this place called America. You understand what I'm saying? We do have that opportunity. Hey, most high Christ, the water black dazzle. So like I ain't got my glasses on. I feel like my eyes are getting worse by the moment.
You wear glasses?
But you understand what I'm saying? Did you want to do a part 2? I just looked at the time, and I'm so lucky for being long-winded and whatnot. Last week, man, you just kept taking the flow, so I had to make sure I grabbed hold of the distance. I'm messing.
Nah, keep going. We let's get in the building. Well, the how can I say the comparison of Bell and the Dragon, and let's just get into that. I mean, should we already over anyways. We can handle it.
All right, I'll read, and then if there's anything I want to If I want to break down myself, I'll stop and break it down. Otherwise, I'll read and then you go. You flow.
No, I'll read. You. Since you got you more savvy
Okay.
to it.
Right.
I'll read and you can break down. But just to add on to what you were saying, as far as like that conditioning since we were children, you know what I mean? Like how that song went. Like it was a time where we all believed that the fairy came into our rooms when we lost our tooth and left money underneath our pillow, and we wholeheartedly believe that. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is just showing how our oppressor works. You know what I mean? When Amalek attacked Israel, they didn't attack them in the front where all the soldiers and all the men were, all the able bodies were. They attacked them from the rear where all the women, children, oldlings, you know what I'm saying? People who were unable to protect themselves, that's where they attacked them from first. That's why the Lord wanted them wiped off the face of the earth. You know what I'm saying? But just remember that when our enemy attacks us, he ain't gonna attack the strong man in the house. He prefers that the strong man is not in the house. You know what I mean? He's gonna attack the children, women, and the weak. The ones are unable to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how he attacks you. So them singing that song is just exposing exactly what the true narrative is and how they work. They work no different than Amalek did in the time of Moses. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it.
Right.
But either way, yeah, that's how it goes. They're gonna go for your children. They're gonna go for your women. I mean, you see what Kamala Harris doing. Kamala Harris is destroying women out in these days. Like she's using the feminists to the max. Like so much they telling women, if your husband don't want you to vote for me, you can vote in secret. You know what I mean? You don't need to know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
She's saying that now. I haven't heard that before. She said that.
That's what what's it? Obama's wife said, or husband. I don't know what that means.
Michelle, don't do that. Don't do that. Michelle is a woman.
Okay. I know Obama don't like women though. So you know what I mean?
I've seen some things, but hey. Yeah, Kai. Damn.
But
She's
anyway,
saying,
you know what I mean? The women get attacked. The men don't. The men are not the ones who you face your attacks to. You go from the rear where the children or the women are, the ones that can't protect themselves, the ones that need a man to protect them. You know what I'm saying? So that song alone, like, you know what I mean, it's a heavy thing because we were so, because of all the things that were told to us as children, we believed that a white man was going through our chimney and leaving gifts, and we didn't even give our father's acknowledgement for for working his ass off that whole month or 2 months or 3 months just to get us some gifts. We gave acknowledgement to a white man that didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because we were so subjected to the cultural things that were, you know what I mean, going on. But this folklore has continued to keep going on from generations to generations to generations, to the point where our people on, what is it going to be, Wednesday or Thursday? Is it Wednesday?
The 31st.
31st. Today's the 29th. Tomorrow's going to be Thursday. Okay. So they're going to let children go out there and put them lives online. They go get candy, dress up like wicked spirits or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Follow the old the traditions of old. You know what I mean? Follow the stories of old, of other cultures, other nations, the things that the Lord hates. You know what I mean? Just because they want to continue to keep that cycle running. But that's all I had on that. You know what I mean? So we see how delusional, okay, given that history of where Halloween began from, where I mean the fertilities, the the start off of a new year, the ignorance, the stupidity. Now we're going to get into Belly of the Dragon real quick, and we're going to figure out that this wasn't just happening at a time of what we see today. This is happening at a time during the Bible days, where a person could come up with something that was, I can't even just say a person, a heathen comes up with something that was so ignorant and so stupid, and yet push that on our people to something that we follow as a false narrative, a false idol, a false god, and we still follow it, right? So let's get into Belly of the Dragon. You go ahead and let me know where you want me to read at, Rock, and I'll go through it, and you can just go ahead and break it down.
All right, yeah, go ahead and start that from the top, for verse 1, and we'll get into it.
All right, so this is Bel and the Dragon and the Apocrypha. Okay, chapter 1. I mean, there's only one chapter, but verse 1. And it says, and King Astyages was gathered to his fathers, and Cyrus and Persia received his kingdom. Verse 2. And Daniel conversed with the king and was honored above all his friends. Verse 3.
Now, with that really quick, just, I always believe that it's a very important thing for us to point out that when an Israelite, the Israelite being Daniel, is ever in a story in the Bible of where, we was put in a position of being an advisor, something similar to like Joseph in the book of Genesis, and then now we got Daniel. I always believe it's very important for us to, make sure that our listening audience like really sees that. How I want to put this, how wise the other nations actually see Israel when we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. You understand? So before we even go like fully get into this, just understand that Daniel is he's an Israelite and he's keeping the laws as an Israelite. You understand what I'm saying? And King Astyages, you understand? What the doggone Persian dude, the Persian king, you understand? He's talking to Daniel, and Daniel is above even his own advisors. You understand what I'm saying? This is how wise the other nations will view you, Black, Latino, and Native American man and woman. If you simply just follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, kings will put you over their own priests, over their own advisors, over their own people of which they believe in the same thing. And we will see as we read, because I want to try not to stop there when it happens, when it's being read, but there is a distinguishment that the king of Persia it's known that Daniel and the king are not practicing the same holiday. You know what I'm saying? They don't serve the same gods. Daniel is just basically kept around because he knows that Daniel is wise. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on.
Verse 3. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Baal, and there were spent upon him every day 12 great measures of fine flour and 40 sheep and 6 vessels of wine.
So 12 great measures of fine flour. Just think, because I don't have the exact measurement myself. I actually don't have my notes on that in front of me right now. But just think, this is enough to feed a lot of people. It's enough flour that goes along with a great amount of flour that goes along with 40 sheep. 40. You understand? And then 6 vessels of wine. A vessel is not, some small, gallon, just a gallon. Their vessel, when it's a vessel of wine, back then they like to drink large. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
Verse 4. And
the point being, it's a lot. Go ahead, Slacky.
Verse 4. And the king worshipped it and went his own and went daily to adore it. But Daniel worshipped his own God. And the king said unto him, why does not thou worship Baal?
Go
Verse
ahead,
5.
read on.
Who answered and said, because I may not worship idols made with hands, but the living God.
Salakia. Why does he not worship? Why does he not worship Baal?
Because I may not worship idols made with hands.
You understand? This is a real man. You understand? This is a brother in the UPK. Even though the king is going to this man and saying and speaking to him as a man, why don't you worship the same God I do? He said, what did Daniel say?
Because I may not worship idols made with hands.
Your God ain't real, King. Right. Nobody even cares what your name is. You're lucky it was even written in our records. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on.
But the living God who hath created the heaven and earth and hath sovereignty over all flesh.
You understand? So Daniel is letting this man know who worships something completely different that has the power to kill Daniel. You understand? Daniel is a man and said, hey, your God is fake. I worship the only real God. And it's as simple as that. You need me to be your advisor? Let me be your advisor. You need some wisdom? I give you some wisdom. But don't listen, you trying to talk to me about a field that you can't measure up to. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, read on.
Verse 6. Then said the king unto him, thinkest thou not that Baal is a living God? Seest thou not how much he eateth and drinketh every day?
Now,
Verse
this
7.
is the crazy thing, right? Salakia. So this is the crazy thing, right? So what did the brother not desire just get finished breaking down not too long ago about the customs of the Druidic Celtics on how they put the offerings on their front porch? You understand? Right. And then, oh, this is for the spirits. Then when you came back outside the next day and the basket's gone or it's empty or hey, this is the kicker. The cookies and milk are gone. It's funny how we can recognize that ain't no business doing Christmas, aside from just for the kids. But then it's not just for the kids on Halloween when you get a full understanding that you're partaking in saying that you want your child to be sacrificed. Y'all see how that all comes right back around full circle? Y'all see how the Most High God don't want you dealing with these other customs in the first place? Because your action says everything. It's not your words that have meaning. It's what you do that has meaning. And you keeping holiday is saying you want your child to be sacrificed. You want your child to be kidnapped. You understand? Right. Roll them dice. Play the game. Hey, the Lord dares you out. I pray that you actually get yourself right and start obeying the Most High God. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
God. Verse 7. Then Daniel smiled and said, O king, be not deceived, for this is but clay within and brass without. And did never eat or drink anything.
So simple. Daniel was telling you, dude, I can tell you what this doggone thing is made of. I'm no alchemist. I'm gonna tell you. In the inside, it's clay. On the outside, they just harden it with some bronze, and it's never eaten or drinking a doggone thing. You understand? Go ahead.
Verse 8. So the king was wroth and called for his priests and said unto them, if ye tell me not who this is that devoureth these expenses, ye shall die.
Now, I want y'all to really, just for the sake of time, I'm going to tell y'all, but there's something in particular that should really stand out with this right here, right? Daniel just let him know, just told the king, yo, nigga, what you worshiping it's fake. It's not real. This is man-made things, and somebody is basically pimping you out. They profited off of your stupidity, your disgusting lusts. You understand? Somebody's profiting off of that. You understand? Now, what should stand out, you might ask, Officer Arad? Well, I'm going to tell you, student of mine that's in my online class, it's a simple fact that where did you see the king say, oh, no, but Daniel, explain this. How dare you talk to me in my land like that? How dare you say this in my palace? No. It said the king was wroth. Another word for being angry. The king was angry not with Daniel. The king was angry because he said, you know what? I seen the things that you do. And the wisdom that you have, obviously there's meaning behind, there's a reason why you have this in the first place. Let me just shut up and just listen to you real quick. And in fact, I don't even blame you. I want these people, the king's own people, his priests, you understand? From his own lineage. Now, I need you to go ahead and explain this. And if you can't explain this from what Daniel's saying right now, what did I say again at the very end? Them last 3 words. That's all I need.
Like it. Ye shall die.
Ye shall die. Why is it? You would think that if you rock with somebody and then somebody from the outside, they accuse you and your boys of doing something wrong, you would think that, hey, hold on, man. Like, who the hell you think you are? No, but what the king did was, because the other nations know the wisdom of Israelites. You understand? When we actually follow our God, that it doesn't matter who you are, how great of a nation that you are. These, these niggers, these wetbacks and spicks, these savages, you understand? We need to listen to these people. Because there's a reason why he's still around and rocking out and being, and doing as well as he's doing. And in fact, when I listen to him, I profit better than my own alleged prophets. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on.
If I can add on real quick.
Oh, Baba Kashah.
The same way that this king believed that the dragon was eating the food that the people were bringing to him is the same way that our people believe that Santa Claus is coming down the chimney. It's the same way that our people believe that the bunny is leaving Easter eggs, or that the tooth fairy is leaving money underneath our pillows, or the same way that we believe that we are able to communicate with our dead loved ones on Halloween. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no different. He really believed that the dragon was eating those portions of food that was being brought to him, and he believed that the idol was real.
If I may, to add on to that, because what you just said was so doggone heavy, is the fact that this is a prime example that it doesn't matter how much power you think you have, just because you're the parent. You might be a supervisor at your job. You might be the whole manager. You might be you might have some power in the world of which you in. But listen, if you're not surrounding yourself around the right ones, they're going to set you up for death and destruction for their own benefit. Doesn't matter what what threats you put in their ear. It doesn't matter what kind of power they even see that you have. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't, you're going to find out.
Right.
Well, as we read on, because you're going to see that these, his does he call them priests, or does he just only call them prophets?
No, he call
them priests. That the king's false priests, you understand? They they're only worried about their gain to an extent that they're willing to gamble everything to keep their pleasure and what they want. You understand? So your position of power don't mean nothing if you have somebody over you like that. You understand? Right. Go ahead and did you have anything else, Art?
Nah.
Okay, go ahead and read on.
Verse 9. But if he can certify me that Baal devoureth them, then Daniel shall die, for he hath spoken blasphemy against Baal. And Daniel said unto the king, let it be according to thy word.
Real quick. Can anybody tell me where you can find real niggas like that? If you can find real niggas like that in the Christian church, led by Pastor Pork Chop. Now, if you're talking about, can you find a nigga like that that'll rep a color or rep a corner? Okay, yeah, sure. Like, you might be able to, but what did he just die for? You understand? Something that was so easily objectified, which is the color, the street corner, a stupid name. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was ever super involved with the gang life. So, in other words, I don't know that much, but, and I admit that it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But But I've even heard, there be some little gangs and cliques and stuff. They got the same color, but they still, they still adversaries, which don't make sense to me at all. Like apparently there's two different types of Crips where, one type of Crip will bang with the other, will not rock with the other type ordeal. You get what I'm saying? Nothing but doggone division, that comes with that worldly side. Go get your brother. Is your sister in the shower right now? Okay, go be with your brother. Salaki. Salaki, hold on. Let me backtrack to remember what I was gonna say. I certified that bail of our family shall die for he blasphemy against bail. The king of the according to that word. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So no, I was trying to remember what I was gonna say. But so you might have men that will, stand up for a color, stand up for a street corner, but what man do y'all know where and also know where to find one that will stand up for a small, simple principality? Now, of course, we know as Israelites, we know as God's chosen people, as his priests and prophets, you understand, that it is no small thing to choose the Lord. You understand? But what I am saying is, in the world, that's a small thing to say, I prefer Christianity over, being a Muslim. Oh, well, that's cool, brother. We can kumbaya and woo. Like, no, that's not what's going on right here, man. You understand? Only in the ISUPK, the young man just said it, only in the ISUPK will you find a man that has the gall to stand up and say, and tell the king of the land, in his palace, in his domain, amongst his people, that you're wrong. And in fact, the deal that you wrong. I told you wrong about this, and you want to get to the bottom of it. And you say that, whichever one is wrong is gonna die. What Pastor Pork Chop do you know of? A TD Jakes, a Creflo Dollar, what's his name? Something Olstein. What Christian do you know that you could go up to and say, hey, man, let's have a debate over this Bible right here about, to find out the truth, and whoever loses dies. You can only find that in the ISUPK because we step every Saturday on them street corners. Hey, we gonna let the wind know and carry our words. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't got Creflo Dollar doing that. You understand? You had something that you wanted to add on that?
Oh yeah, Con. I was gonna say too, like going off of what you were saying, as far as what would you do as far as if your life was on the line? Like Daniel had absolutely no issue because he was so comfortable with with knowing that our God is the true God, the true living God, and that their God is a false God. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, into today's standpoints, you see so many people trying to battle Captain Tazariak every week. You know what I mean? Right. Battle after battle after battle after battle. Example. Would you see those many battles if your life was on the line? Would you see Israelites trying to battle, whether it's the Old or the New Testament, or if the New Testament was really real or if it wasn't real? Would you see if they had a gun pointed to their head, prove this or die? You think that they're gonna keep stepping up trying to prove their stance? Because I know Captain Tazariak would, because he knows what he believes in. He knows what he's battling is real. He knows that when he's stepping in the battlefield, it's already life or death, and that he's going to accomplish and beat whoever's stepping in front of him. But the people who challenge him, you wouldn't see that many challenges if their life was on the line. Oh, well, either make this real or, you know what I mean, potentially we gonna take your life. You ain't gonna see that many challenges. You're not gonna see that many offers up. Oh yeah, we want to challenge, we want to call in and battle this and that and that and this. Like, you know what I'm saying? But because they get the privilege now of trying to prove their points of Christianity and Christianity some more, you know what I mean? You because your life is not on the line, you're going to continue to keep on trying to push your narrative. But if your life was on the line and someone held a weapon in the back of your head and said, either prove it or we unaliving you today, you wouldn't see that many challenges going against our brothers. You know what I mean? Right here in the ISUPK. Nice. You know what I mean? Brothers are not that reassured. Brothers are not that confident that what they're teaching us is legit. You wouldn't see so many fake camps out here. You know what I'm saying? But Daniel had absolutely no hesitation. He was just, all right, well, let it be done. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. I know what I'm saying is real. And I know that Baal is not real at all. It's just clay and bronze. That's it. But that's all I want to add.
No. What you brought out was buku heavy, man, because another big thing that we got to take into account, right? Because you said this that really stood out to me, right? Within fake camps, if that was the ordeal every single time, you understand? I mean, we technically had that in the beginning with Moses, when the brothers, started to establish their own camps within, while we was in the wilderness and whatnot, right? Trying to rise up against Moses. And what ended up happening? The earth opened up and swallowed them up. You understand? That's like
they were.
It's like. So, the earth opened up and swallowed them up, which lets you know that the Most High ain't, man, he is not playing. You understand what I'm saying? Now, why is it that there's a little bit more of a lenience when it's us against the other, the other nations? I mean, ultimately, we got to remember that it's us against them in the first doggone place. It's us against them in the physical world to say that, hey, I'm strong enough to say I'm not going to go and play with y'all. I'm not going to go and align myself with y'all for the sake of y'all's benefit. You understand? I'm worried about the benefit of which my God had promised me. Do I have to apply some patience? Well, you know what? If you truly serve the God of the Bible, that's the first goddamn vocab word that you learn is patience. Because you got to learn to patiently shut the F up. That's the first thing that you do coming into the ISUPK. Because that's your words can be the biggest offense. You understand what I'm saying? But like, don't let me get sidetracked, right? You was good, right? We move on, or you was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple of chapters that way we can catch up with the time. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. Salagi, man. Like if I sidetrack, just kind of say something. Salagi.
I mean,
but go ahead.
He's probably right. Part 2 should have been. Nah, hell no. We still in good standings. We still got 30 minutes.
Okay, hey. All right, go ahead and read it.
Probably finish before 30 minutes. I don't want people to start logging off and like, oh yeah, they're gonna take too long. Like, nah. We probably, but I'm just saying as far as like time goes. But okay, so we're on verse 10. Verse 10. Now the priests of Baal were 70 beside their wives and children, and the king went with Daniel into the temple of Baal.
So I want you to remember that number right there. It said 70. 9, right? Was it 9? No, 10. 10. 70. So for those of y'all that are not tracking, a score, think of the tally system. So the way that we did it was, instead of, 4 dots or 4 lines and then a slash, we basically counted a score to be 20. A set of those tally marks that equal to 20. So 4 of the, 4. No, I'm sorry. My math is retarded. 5 of those is 20. No, it's 4. Well, I'm like, buku retarded. It's 4 of those sets. It's 20. You understand what I'm saying? And then obviously plus 10. So that brings us to, so it's a 3 score, right? In 10. So we got 60. Now we got 70. That's 70 men without their children and wives. I want y'all to remember that. For those of y'all that are listening, write that down. There's a reason for that. It's gonna come back up again. Go ahead and read. Actually, it already came up. There's a reason why it came up again. If you go back to, for those of y'all that haven't been following along the way you're supposed to, just make sure that you go back to verse 3 and you'll see how verse 10. God damn, we was just reading it. 3 and 10 go together, and then there's going to be another verse. You understand that these three all come together. But go ahead, read on verse 11.
I'm starting verse 10 again. Verse 10. Now the priests of Baal were 70 beside their wives and children, and the king went with Daniel into the temple of Baal. Verse 11. So Baal's priest said, "Lo, we go out, but thou, O king, set on the meat and make ready the wine and shut the door fast and seal it with thine own signet."
So simple. They say, hey, do what do our normal sacrifice, but when you're about to leave, seal it with your signet. You understand? That signet is gonna be a ring. A lot of times you see, brother, I got fat fingers right now. I'm in my weight loss journey, so I'm not wearing any of my skinnier rings, but that's why I don't see none. But once I get to that point again, I'd have the Magan Dawada on it. That Magan Dawada, what they would normally do, they'd put, they would dip that in hot wax and then they would pour hot wax onto something that needed to be sealed. Then they would put a ring on it. And that was the seal of, well, in our case, the Magan Dawada, or right here, it would be the seal of that king of Persia. All right. Not even worried about saying his name. So to let you know that, hey, the king's seal. This is the king's seal. If you open it, we all gonna know. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
All right. Verse 12. And tomorrow, when thou comest in, if thou findest not the Baal have eaten up all, we will suffer death, or else Daniel that speaketh falsely against us. If I may, real quick. They're deceiving. They're deceiving the situation. I mean, I'm not going to jump ahead and expose what's going on, but what I'm saying,
don't do that.
They're telling them to seal it for a reason. You know what I mean? Before it was like, okay, nobody really thought nothing of it, but now it's like, okay, close the doors, lock the room, and you know what I mean. If you come in tomorrow, then you know what I mean. If the offerings are gone, then that must mean that Baal ate them because nobody else is in here with them.
Right.
Just throwing that out there, but I guess on verse 13, unless you want to add on to it.
No.
All right.
The water for that.
Verse 13.
Verse 12. Verse 12.
I just did 12.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's like verse 13. You was right.
Verse 13. And they little regarded, for under the table they had made a privy entrance, whereby they entered in continually and consumed those things. So
if I may, right? So 13 just let y'all know they already had a private entrance. In other words, this how do you say, this situation was pre-thought of. What if our king questions us about our God, of which we've been giving all of our food sacrifices to, and woo-to-woo? What happens in this situation? Hey, bro, we got our plan B right here. Boom. We seeing plan B. And it's about to go into, go into fruition. Go ahead and read when you're ready.
Right. Verse 14.
If I may, before you do, that sounds exactly like, because I was one of them kids that questioned my parents about, Christmas and the Easter Bunny and this, that, and the other. Man, my mama goddamn bamboozled me so goddamn bad one year. Because I remember, and it started from like the time of August. My mom had already started doing this. Like, I remember this vividly when, I kept Christmas at that time. They still do. Tis. She told me, I think I was like, my parents were still together. So I think I was like 10 years old at the time. She sat there and said, she kept telling, call me by my slave name. She's like, hey, we might not have Christmas this year. Me and your dad, you know, we just went through all this financial hardship and woo, and blah, 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 blah. And the funny thing is going into December that year, our eldest cousin, grandchild, he started talking about, like, to us older grandkids, oh yeah, Santa's not real and da 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 da. Well, my mama persuaded me so well, I took her words and gave it to him. I'm like, hold on, dude, you can't say this when my mom said that they had no money. And I just got a PlayStation 2. Me and my brother got a bike. My sister got this. Like, dude, you can't sit here and tell me that Santa's not real, but we got all these things. Right? And I want y'all to really think, like, thinking here just how wicked that sounds, especially when, I mean, my daddy didn't have no partake in that conversation. My dad wasn't even there. You understand? My dad didn't know that my mama said that. I don't even know if my dad did know that she said it at all, and behind closed doors or not. Think about how wicked that is. You understand? To where, I mean, the people who actually put in the work don't even get the credit for it. You get what I'm saying? And something weak, wicked, and evil gets it in replace. All right, go ahead and read on from there. As we're writing your thought. Go ahead.
Verse 14. So when they were gone forth, the king set meats before Baal. Now Daniel had commanded his servants to bring ashes, and those they strewed throughout all the temple in the presence of the king alone. Then went they out and shut the door and sealed it with the king's signet, and so departed. Verse 15.
Now, one thing I want y'all to know real quick. Just because you got wisdom and knowledge does not mean that you do not have to have labor within your life. Wisdom, knowledge, and labor are all three things. They're all three requirements of you. Those are the base requirements of you serving the Lord in the first place. For you to even have favor, for even the Most High to show you even the slightest bit of favor, like in this situation right here. You understand? And what I mean by that is then if Daniel only leaned on just simple faith and just basic faith with no works, you understand? Do y'all think his wisdom, or do y'all think his knowledge and wisdom would have been shown to the world for us to read this great story that we're reading now? Hell no. You understand? This right here, Bel and the Dragon, is a great book throughout to let you know that there is a will to kill idolatry, but also that your faith without works means nothing. Just because I can sit here and tell you, what you just said is bullshit. Just because I can say it's bullshit doesn't mean it's bullshit, even though it is bullshit.
All right.
But what is also, just for time's sake, I'm just say it real quick. What is it? 2 Timothy? Is it 1st or 2 Timothy 2:14? That prove all things and hold on to which is good. Just to paraphrase it, I might be off. First it's either 1st or 2 Timothy. You understand? But the point is you're supposed to prove all things. So for you to say that something is bullshit, well, you need to be able to provide the right shit. You understand? It's like it for my language. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
Okay, so verse 15. Okay, so just a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
This is another day, right? So in this day, Daniel, being the wise man that he is, knowing that there's something wrong with this situation, he orders that ashes should be put on the floor because there ain't no way that this dragon is in that room alone by himself, right? So he tells them to put ashes on the floor, then seal up the room with the signet, just like they did the last time. But now it's going to be the time period where, no one knows that this trap is set, right? So verse 15.
No. So right now, this is all the fluidity of like the same day. Where
okay, so this is the same one.
Yeah. We still in the same day where the king was already like, hey man, you need to explain yourself, or else I'm gonna kill you. But if you can't explain it, I'm gonna kill Daniel. And then the priests was like, hey, okay, how about we do this tonight? Right? Let me make sure just real quick that they did say and tomorrow.
Okay,
so right. So tonight. So this is tonight. We're gonna set the floor tonight, where you give the meat offering, whatever the offerings tonight, and then then we're gonna do the shebang. But what Daniel did is, after all the offerings was put in, he had his servants go in behind, right? So from this end of the wall and walking backwards to the entrance / exit, sprinkle the floor with ashes, so that way there's nothing on the floor, nobody can see. You understand? And then of course, once they got out, outside, all right, go ahead, Mr. King, put your signet in the seal so that we can see if anybody had broken the seal or not to break in, right?
You got that tick. That shit is funny as hell. But
you said what?
I'll tell you after class. But all right, so verse 15. Now in the night came the priests with their wives and children, as they were wont to do, and did eat and drink up all. 16. Okay, so yeah, this is the same night. This is not in this. For some reason, I thought it was a simultaneous night where it was one night they did this, and then the next night they did this. But this is all the same night. It's like,
no, yeah, come on, ain't no thing.
As they were wont to do, and did eat and drink up all. In the morning, betime, the king arose, and Daniel with him. And the king said, Daniel, are the seals whole? And he said, yea, O king, they be whole. And as soon as
all the food and the drink got ate up, but it already told us that's hey, they broke in and ate it up. But the next day, when the king and all the servants went to go and check, hey, the seal hasn't been broken. Ooh, man, now we're getting into our Christmas, Easter, and Halloween mysticism, right? Or in other words, we're about to debunk all that nonsense, right? Go ahead.
Verse 18. And as soon as he had opened the door, the king blocked upon the table and cried with a loud voice, Great art thou, O Baal, and with thee is no deceit at all. Then laughed Daniel. Hold on.
Can somebody please tell me any other nigga? Can any other man? Well, now we're in a world of this, where a man can be a woman, a woman be a man. Listen, can you find me a person that's got that type of gall in a time, especially in a time period where they would skin you alive and absolutely no consequences? But this is the king, and he can order that. And who's going to say something to him? And Daniel laughed in his face in the midst of this man, stood up. Oh, nobody can deceive you. What did he say?
He said,
I don't want. He said, and cried with a loud voice, Great art thou, O Baal. Slide, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you too. Great art thou, O Baal, and with thee is no deceit at all.
Man, don't he just sound like one of them Christian pastors? Just, oh Lord, man, remind me of that devil. And it's a video I think I sent it to you at least once, where it's that devil. He looked wicked as all hell too, where he's just sitting there. He's like, ugh. And in that moment, I just became a new creature. That's exactly what this reminds me of. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
That meme is funny as hell.
Boy, oh man, that wicked bastard is hilarious. Lucky. But you get what I'm saying? One more time?
Kenneth Copeland, I think.
Oh, I don't know his name. I never knew his name. I just know his face. But That's, he did one of those right there. You sitting there professing to your God, oh man, and then Daniel, the nigga that he is, the commander, he got this how you know Commander John Yohana has the same spirit as all the priests and prophets of the Lord in the Bible, which of course is of the Lord. You understand? Is any adversity that comes to, in the way of ISUPK, hasn't Commander John Yohana always led his generals, his captains, and his officers with the same note where he damn near just laughs at it? Oh, we got, somebody trying to sue us, somebody trying to take us to court, which has happened. And what does Commander John Yohana do? He damn near just laughs at it. You think that your ways, that your God has something over mine? Man, let's go ahead and read on.
Then laughed Daniel and held the king that he should not go in, and said, behold, now the pavement, and mark well whose footsteps are these.
So David said, hold up, player. Before you go in and contaminate the room, hey, look at the flow. Now, I did this on our way out. Who did this? This floor was, we haven't even stepped in yet. All they did was break open the door, break open the seal, and boom. And he just went straight into, how do they talk for Baal? That's what he did. You understand what I'm saying? And then he said, oh, hold on, partner. Hold on, player. Whose footsteps is this on the floor? Read on.
Verse 20. And the king said, I see the footsteps of men, women, and children. And then the king was angry. Hey, do we even have children with us? He was able to identify and see, hold on, those are niggas, those are females, and these are children. Right. All distinguishable from each other. So, in other words, the king is putting on his thinking cap. He said, oh, Daniel. Oh, shit. Oh, hold on, man. You got a point here. I see some things. Go ahead and read on. And then the king was angry. Verse 21. And took the priests with their wives and children and shewed him to privy doors, where they came in and consumed such things as were upon the table. Therefore the king slew them and delivered Baal into Daniel's power, who destroyed him and his temple. So I want to say this just really quick. Again, to go back on Halloween, with you partaking in Halloween, what you are saying that you are, you're accepting the consequences that you're accepting. You understand? You gotta think. Even the people who push that ideology, that push that falseness, you understand? That false way of thinking, that false ideology. You understand? They have consequences too. Now it sounds like your consequences can be the same exact as the people who even crammed it down your throats. It almost sounds like this can be connected to the book of Revelations, where, and we're not going to pull it, I'm just going to paraphrase it real quick, but where the Most High is basically warning us to separate from her, my people, so that we may not drink of her cup of iniquity. Right. You understand? So if you are partaking in worshiping Baal, don't it sound like there's a consequence that come along with it? Especially if you pushing to worship it in the first place? This is hope and reassurance for the priests and prophets of the Lord that the wicked will not go unpunished. You understand? And that goes for those that push it, whether they are the priests of that falsehood or even, hey, sometimes the worshipers are even worse than a goddamn priest. Y'all ever think about that?
the worst dude in the KKK ain't always the dude with the red. I know he's called a red dragon. What's the red dress? You know, the red pillowcase dress or whatever. You said what?
He's a high priest.
Right. But my point is the lowest of the KKK members is sometimes high or is sometimes worse than that high priest. Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad. You understand? Sometimes they even worse. So that in itself, I mean, hey, did you drink of the same cup? I don't care who was worse. I don't care. Did you drink of the same cup? I don't care about your works. I don't care. Did you drink of the same cup? Y'all get what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on. Or it's like, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
No, I think after that we straight on that. Like the consequence was made the priests show him how they did it. They exposed that they were liars and deceit. And not only did he unalive the priests, he unalived the women and the children. So you thinking that you're not sacrificing your child by just dressing them up all innocently and sending them out to go trick-or-treating. You're sacrificing them because that judgment that comes with celebrating and serving those false idols is not just going to come to you. It's going to come to that same little child that you deceived and pushed into the rituals of the heathen. That same judgment is going to come to that child too. You think that God is going to stop his judgment just at you because you were the adult who you're sacrificing your children by having them continue that ritual that you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? You're sacrificing your children. Your children are in full position of getting the judgment of the Lord as well. And you think it's innocent, and you think it's cute, and you think it's fun. But at the end of the day, you're being disrespectful to the Lord, and you're serving you're serving gods. You're serving a heathen ritual, a heathen festival that has absolutely nothing to do with us. But I'm good on the whole topic. That was the wild.
Okay, no, yeah, I'm 12 with it as well, but I would like to depart with this as well, right? Because we do have Halloween coming up on Thursday, like we said, right? And then, of course, shortly after is Thanksgiving, and then Christmas right after that. I want y'all, if there's one thing that I want to be hammered into y'all's brains right now, into your heart, in the words of the Bible, into your heart, I want this to be engraved. You understand? These words that for those of y'all that are having a hard time with separating from doing these holidays, listen, do you want to be caught with the cup in your hand and you partaking in that cup of inequity, that cup of inequity in your hand, where you drinking upon that, drinking upon the lusts that is filled in that cup of inequity? You understand? I want y'all to partake on that. And for those of us who have separated from those holidays, you understand? Never lose hope on the fact that those that put that stumbling block in front of us, and also those, especially and more so for those who are still stumbling over that block, they will pay for it.
Right.
You understand? They will pay for putting that stumbling stone in front of you and keeping that stumbling stone in front of our brothers and sisters who have a hard time overcoming that. You understand what I'm saying? You keep doing what you're doing. Make sure that you're in all these doggone classes, so then that way that you are like what this, that you can become what the scripture has said, that you become study, that you study to show yourself approved of the Most High. You understand? That starts with these classes. You understand what I'm saying? That's what scripture breakdown is for. You understand? Tuesday and Wednesday come first, because if we say something where we're not able to answer your question, hey, Thursday is loaded up with all those questions of what you didn't understand of what we talked the prior days. You understand what I'm saying? So that you can get on the same doggone page. But all in all, we cannot forget the fact that just because the punishment hasn't happened today doesn't mean it's not going to come tomorrow. And I would like to close out with was it Ecclesiastes? Is it 12? And actually no, I'll save that for are we gonna do a part 2 for this?
We can do a part 2. I mean, we got Thanksgiving coming up. We can definitely do a part 2.
Yeah, so then we'll do a more thorough. Yeah. So our part 2, if you enjoyed today's class, and it sounds like you need to go ahead and put one of them little a notifier on your phone. Officer Rock and Officer Natazak out there in goddamn Las Vegas and SoCal. Man, they're doing a part 2 of Bell and the Dragon. This is one of my favorite books to read over in the first place. I read this damn near every week if they would allow me to. Shit. But you get what I'm saying? Just for those of y'all that know what time it is, don't ever forget what time it is. And we ride around the doggone corner, and you keep that let this be the fuel to keep burning your hatred, your frustration, your anger against the other nations. You understand? And that's what's gonna that's gonna fuel you until the end of which you must endure. You understand? And for those of y'all that are struggling a little bit, hey man, you just gotta think how you associate yourself is how you gonna get punished. You want to associate, you want to keep being aligned with America, you gonna get punished like how America is gonna get punished. You want to keep acting like you act in an African booty scratcher, but you a nigga, you gonna get punished like an African booty scratcher. Or them goddamn, them fish heads, whatever, it don't matter. You understand? Moabite, Elamite, Hamite, you understand? If you want to act like them, you're going to be treated like them.
Right.
Your actions always speak louder than words. You understand? And with that, I mean, hey, I'm Precinct Officer 500 Rock out here in Las Vegas. You understand? If y'all could for me, give this brother not just like a hand for being so kind to have me in his class again. You know what I'm saying? It's always an honor and a pleasure to be teaching these classes alongside with my brother. You understand? And you got the flow.
Right, most definitely. Most sorry ham right there. Tuesday night brotherhood class. Please not for a rock. You know what I mean? The water for letting me be in for your class. You know what I mean? Las Vegas. You know what I mean? Southern California. Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakathum to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemal Atham Hashem Yahshua to the sisters. We appreciate y'all for coming in. We'll see y'all next week, man. Oh, this video is crazy. Let me play that one more time.
One about San Francisco. They can wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children.
That's crazy.
We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Like, mute your mic if you're able to.
So scared
All right,
of
so one more
turning
question.
children into accepting, caring people, but